Anyway, uh,
Which part of it?
shut up. They can hear you. Hello there. Welcome to this week's episode of Nerd Shit Live. I'm your host, Pat Naparano. With me, as always, is my co-host, Dan Kilkenny, Nick McFly, and Mike Burke. Wait, where's... Hooray! God damn it, you guys are quiet.
The clapping. I get it every
You guys
week.
are very quiet. I just like, I don't know, like, why look, I don't have to worry about this in like another 3 weeks. So, but for whatever reason, the intro music doesn't like play back for me some nights, and I've tried everything I can to fix it in OBS, so it throws my vibe off completely. I'm like, all right, let's do intro music, and I hit it, and I'm like, nothing on my end.
I never hear any of the music.
Yeah, I know. I can't wait.
I can't hear any.
Right, but so we're right there in the trenches. With you,
yeah,
welcome to our world.
I can't wait until it's all just in one signal flow, one location.
Blast it.
Yeah, true. Blast
I'll put a
it.
sub.
Yeah, we
Yeah, you
started
guys
working
should
on
see-
the new studio this weekend.
You guys see you should see the fucking light, the work light I put in there. Ever since I put a 6,000 lumen LED.
I did.
Like-
You walk in, it's like.
Oh yeah, it's like this place was built on the sun. You know what I mean? Like you're in a Zara. That's what it's like. It's
You got cameras on us, and we're all just like sweating.
Yeah.
Welcome to Nerd Shit Live.
All right.
Here's a newspaper today.
I don't
like an
think
episode
you
of
guys
Seinfeld.
know what LED lights are. I think we should have that conversation first.
Oh, I didn't hear LED.
Yeah,
I just
no.
heard big bright light.
No,
and immediately
no,
thought floodlight,
No.
like
Yeah.
Russian prison.
It's
camp
kind of like
floodlight.
that. It's definitely kind of like that. It's like has like 3 separate little triangles that all have their own 6,000 lumen LED in them, and then they have different angles. So I angled them all up to really, they're on there's light on the walls too now.
How does it look? Does it look?
It's
You
bright.
can see
It's
every
bright.
little
It'll
crack.
be a good work light. Like obviously that's not like what we're gonna light the studio with, but I mean like when we're like fixing stuff in there, it's so much better than the incandescent bulb that
I was
in
about
there.
to say we might have to start wearing like foundation if we're gonna start seeing every pore lit up.
We're idiots.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, sure. Whatever this
I
is,
gotta tell you,
Nick.
buddy.
Seinfeld,
Oh,
bro.
Yeah, I know it's Seinfeld, but how
Famous
does it
episode of
relate?
Seinfeld, because Kramer was living in his apartment that was being lit up by a bright red sign for a chicken restaurant right across the street, and he was starting to lose his mind a little bit.
Oh, okay.
So him and Jerry then switched places, and then Jerry started becoming Kramer because then he couldn't sleep with the light on. Classic episode.
I don't remember.
We're
that
just gonna be
episode.
a Seinfeld review show now. Or Danny, a whole new segment. Danny explains an episode of Seinfeld.
With no entertainment value. It's really funny explaining it.
There's not like anything to
Okay,
explain
actually,
in a Seinfeld episode.
Here's all right.
That's it.
That's
what
the
it's
whole
about,
point of the
nothing.
show. Here's my fun fact. Since we're on Seinfeld, did you guys know when they moved Seinfeld from Fox like to TBS for reruns? Right, they actually sped up the show by 12% to
Yep.
add more time for commercials.
Oh
So
God.
somebody on Reddit played both the episodes starting at the same time next to each other, and the one that aired on TBS was way faster. You would never notice unless
Well,
you saw the
yeah.
two of them together.
Right.
Yeah, that's I forget what the process is called, but I mean it's really just to then fit other shows to clock, because TBS has a certain clock time per half hour,
Yeah.
and then like some shows it's like 21:30 or something like that. For something like Fox, their TRT is probably around like 22,
Right.
so they have to cut out that 30 seconds. I can't remember what the process is called, but it's literally like a machine that you put it through, and it just sort of starts chopping out frames bit by bit.
Like unnecessary frames where it's just like, all right, we got
It's random, actually.
Oh,
Like it's
okay.
random, or
And
like
now-
every
well,
cliffhanger is just removed.
Well, now
from the end of the
every
game.
every
like,
show
it's
is
random to the point where you can't notice it, and
Yeah.
also like it like speeds it up just ever so slightly.
every show is shot on video now, though, so that never could be a thing anymore.
Yeah, no, this,
Like,
this is what,
it's just like,
we're
hey,
dealing with
can we get a
space.
3-minute cut? Can we get an 8-minute cut? Can we get a 12-minute cut? You know,
Now you could just take the original master and just cut it, cut 15 seconds out or whatever you want out, just like randomly doing it manually. But
Yeah.
there's a machine that just automates it for you.
speaking of cutting shit out, Ubisoft is cutting shit out. You guys, you see this? Ubisoft says that
You
it's
see this shit?
focusing its efforts now to more free-to-play models. This is not something I want to hear at all as somebody who loves AAA
Shove it
games.
just right back up
As
your
far
ass.
as I'm concerned. Now, they have
High-end
since
and free-to-play.
clarified the statement saying that they're still going to be providing their 3 to 4 annual release games per year, but they're just going to they're going to really aggressively focus on free to play, which good for them, or I guess it's a good step for them because 34% of their revenue, only just a third of it was the actual sale of a AAA game. Everything else was microtransactions.
Which, I mean, this is just the direction that it's all going. Look at the success of Warzone that Activision had. I mean, it's just, and as someone,
Yeah,
Fortnite, the list goes on, but I mean, it's just looking at someone like me who is a casual gamer who Ubisoft, whatever they come out with, I really don't care most of the time. I'm not big on Assassin's Creed. I will be playing the new Far Cry 6, however.
Yeah.
I will be playing that.
That looks good.
However, it's primarily because a casual gamer really only has a certain budget that they're willing to pay for games, and Assassin's Creed type game is not the one that I would really pay for. However, if you tell me it's free, you bet your ass I'll give it a shot. 100%.
Would you play World of Warships? Would you play World of Warships? Answer me
World of-
honestly. It's free to play.
Is it free?
Yeah,
I'll give
it's
it
okay.
free. I
It's
consider
on.
it.
All right,
If it's free, I
It's
will
on
consider it.
Steam,
But that's
and
the thing. It invites people in the door. That's just what it does.
yeah.
that's literally how. I mean, it's just completely shifting to the mobile game model where it's freemium with every single thing, because it works.
Yeah, but
you're
hold
not
on.
gonna do something that doesn't work.
The problem I
know
have
they're
with
gonna
this
get-
is we've seen this before, and I don't know if you guys heard a little game called Battlefront 2, where they made players pay $60 for what is essentially a freemium experience, a whole bunch of RNG, microtransactions, loot boxes, and they found out that if you did not pay to get characters, it would have taken you 2,100 hours of gameplay just to get either Luke Skywalker or Darth Vader. And people lost their fucking minds. Absolutely insane. So
There are incorrect ways to do it and correct ways to do it. That's just an incorrect way to do it. That just makes it completely unfair.
and I think that
someone's got to crawl before the rest of us can walk, and I think EA has been
well,
crawling for years.
look at Valorant.
They've been crawling
Look
for
at Valorant.
decades.
Look at League of Legends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those games are free to play games and millions of people play them. Now listen, I don't think that speaks to their quality or there is no criticism against them, but I'm just saying people are attracted to that. I mean, Mike, you just said Fortnite, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I spent money in Fortnite. I get the season pass when I play that game because I'm like, I want the cool costumes. My one friend has, no joke, he has every single skin. Every single Batman, Superman, Thanos, whatever the fuck. He's got it all.
Jesus.
All right.
How much my guy spent?
I don't know. He's got to have spent
God.
a lot of money.
But I like the idea of, you can get the game and just put in however much you want to put into it. What I don't, obviously want to see that all of a sudden in order to get better at the game or get access to better
Oh, nobody wants that.
But
Nobody
I mean,
wants
it's-
that. Yeah.
No, nobody wants that, of course. But I like the idea that you are able to then put in the amount of money that you want to.
Yeah.
I don't want AAA games to go anywhere, of course not. But I
This is also
like the idea of this.
Well, yeah.
I think
And
it's also
Danny,
going to be interesting, because this model I feel works predominantly well like for profit for the companies when it's a multiplayer game. So when we're taking a look at like Ubisoft, who, if we're looking at like the Far Cry games and we're looking at the Assassin's Creed games, like a lot of their AAA platformers, it's like, are we going to see a shift, following a lot of like the multiplayer battle royale style for things?
True. Well, do you think this has any implications for bringing on like more indie studios, like
No.
or all in-house?
How did I know that you were gonna bring it back to the indie game make? I knew that going into this. You're gonna be like, what does this say for the indie game makers?
Well, no, I mean like if
It's
they're
always
gonna
looking out for the little man.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly. But I mean, like it to me, it seems like if they don't do that, it's the same mistake that Quibi made by not bringing on like independent content creators. Where it's like you got a legion of people who want to just make games. Just put those guys to work.
So the thing with that, and like they've seen it with a couple of the other things, like not Xbox Game Pass, but there's a couple other Game Passes or like a couple other like Steam alternatives where they basically do like, it's a free game this month from this indie developer. So unless they like worked to develop an entire platform for it, I really couldn't see them like bothering to bring on some indie games like that. And also the whole article and the whole push we're talking about is like really AAA game focused. So I think they're
It's
just
also
trying to make
fucking Ubisoft, you guys. They would fucking steal candy from a baby and then justify it, okay?
Oh yeah.
All right,
I mean,
it's
they're
fucking
AAA
Ubisoft.
Games, like they're still gonna release them, and they're still gonna be broken when
I
they're
got
released. Now they might be
soft-locked.
more broken.
I got
That's the
soft
thing.
locked out of an Assassin's Creed game in 2020 on 2 platforms. Why the fuck are we even debating this topic? So let's talk about games that aren't going to be a shit show. And that is Sony has 25 exclusives in the works, baby. And that is what I'm looking forward to. Now, we talked about this before, not on the show, but previous to the show, when you guys were
In
hanging out
real
at
life.
my house.
IRL.
That only half of them are sequels. The other half are new IPs. So obviously, I want to see God of War Ragnarok like right now, yesterday, as a matter of fact. And new IPs though, I hope we're getting something new from Naughty Dog. Like that's where I hope Last of Us 3 and a new IP from Naughty Dog. That's what I would like to see.
I'm just really excited that there is a lot of. I'm excited about the excitement in the community over this, primarily because I mean this is literally just me. I haven't been super impressed with some of the exclusives that PlayStation has come out with for the PS5. That's just my opinion.
What
I know that there are a lot
exclusives
of people-
though? Like they haven't come out with Returnal and Demon Souls. That's it.
Nothing.
That's the thing, is the fact that there just really aren't any. And the fact that they actually made an announcement and there is excitement about it. As a PS5 hopeful owner, I just am excited that the community is finally talking about all the exclusives.
Maybe you'll
like
get one of those
Stray,
ones.
the cat game that I will be playing when it comes out.
You'll get one of the ones that has the redesign. That's when they say they'll be able to catch up with demand. They're like changing some internal components to like shift away from the semiconductors. I don't know how that's gonna fuck with performance.
I was about to say, gee, that's risky.
Yeah, I don't know how that's gonna fuck with performance or like what that's gonna do to like the temps or anything. Like just who even knows? It's like, yeah, we have this awesome architecture. A pandemic happened and we can't get this shit out to people. Time to just change what we built for the last 6 years. You know what I mean? So
also all the game devs. Hi, I've been developing exclusively for PS5. Here are the specs of a PS5. Just kidding.
Just kidding. No,
Yeah,
you gotta
like,
make
I
it
mean,
without semiconductors.
this
That
is-
ain't gonna run.
this is kind of redundant for us to talk about because we did get assurance that there is someone on the case looking into this.
That's true.
Thank God.
So, but
Thank
my point
God.
is, so PS5 though, they're having Ratchet and Clank come out June 11th. I wasn't gonna get that. However, the more I watch from it, it does look better and better.
It
So I
looks
would
good.
like to play it. Then it's Horizon and God of War are supposed to be the next two that are the next PS5 exclusives. I think Returnal was like the newest one. Either way though, anyone else looking forward to anything? Like I said, mine's I hope a new IP from Naughty Dog and Last of Us 3. Everything else is like, let's go. Come on.
I'm like,
Oh, new
I don't
Spider-Man.
know. Go
New
ahead,
Spider-Man
go
would
ahead.
be good too.
oh, a Spider-Man would be good. So I have a
They
PS4.
did, but I mean, it was just a small game, right? It was only like 8 hours of gameplay or something
Upgraded,
like that.
upgraded DLC. That's what it
Got
was.
it. Okay.
Change it around.
But go ahead, Burke.
Yeah, I mean, I have a PS4. I don't have a PS5 because again, there's 2 games for PS5, and I'm not spending $600 on that plus, right? If I could get it at the store right now, but I'm super excited because looking at like all of these games that PlayStation is making exclusive, they've just been blowing everybody out of the water for like the last 2-3 years. Like it's no contest. Xbox can just completely like shut up.
I loved my Xbox 360. I really did. I loved
Yeah.
I loved my GameCube, but god damn it, some of the best gaming moments I've ever had were on my PS4 playing a single player game. Like really like elevate the fucking experience. You know what I mean?
One thing that changing topic just like slightly, my favorite thing has been like researching this and then just going to the comment section. As soon as you get to like the third comment, it's nothing but people bitching about timed exclusive games, and it's just people complaining about nothing that has anything to do with the 25 games that they're coming out with. It's just people complaining
Well,
Oh, I
about
gotta
this.
look. I gotta look.
What's that? Days Gone is coming to PC. Horizon Zero Dawn came to PC.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
if anyone's interested in playing those on PC, they will be there.
I'm actually super interested. I've wanted that game forever.
What, Days Gone or Horizon?
No, Horizon. Because it just looks cool, and I know we've had this.
Nobody
conversation
wants to be
before.
a biker. And it really upsets me because I really like that fucking game, and everyone's like, "Yeah, that game looks cool too." I'm like, "No, you don't get it. You don't get it." I actually found my old review for that game. I forget who I wrote for at that time, but I found my review, and it was literally like, if it was just like, I don't think it was uninformed, but it was the most basic thing. It was like, yeah, if you can get through the opening hours, you'll have a great time. But that is every game. That is literally the lowest bar you can set for a video game. Just, yeah, if you can make it through the tutorials and setting up the story, then you're off to the races, you know?
It's like saying that with Red Dead.
Yeah.
If you could get through the first 5 hours of the tutorial in Red Dead, you'll have a great time.
If you can get through the prologue, you know, the part where they invest you and everything, you'll be A-okay.
I mean,
If you can
I
get through the
still,
part where they tell you how to play the game.
I haven't still played past the first 3 hours of Red Dead 2.
Wait, are you serious?
I played like 3 hours and then I completely forgot about it.
Yeah, but you also, but you did that with Last of Us as well. You got like 4 hours in and then you stopped.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that's just me getting old.
These old bones. have a hard
Ah.
time playing
These
games.
fingers just
but
can't
meanwhile-
do it the same way.
Meanwhile, I played 100 hours of Rust in the first like 3 days.
God damn it, dude. You know what's funny is that I actually go back to the Rust nights now, and I think, wow, it's such a long time ago. It really wasn't, but it's just I spent so much time in Rust.
It was like a very densely, packed couple
fucking
months.
dense. We were like every Friday, like Thursday through like Sunday. We're like, we fucking doing Rust? Are we doing it? Like,
Yeah,
Mondays and Tuesdays.
it's true. There was one week where we played every
We gotta
night.
refill the TC. We gotta get back in there. On
Yeah,
Monday
it's
night.
true. All right. That being said, next is He-Man. It is He-Man TV show. What is it called? Masters of the Universe, I think.
Masters of the Universe,
Yeah.
Revelation.
Coming out in 2 parts.
Yep. Kevin Smith.
She-Ra.
This is of Kevin Smith's design. Mark Hamill is playing Skeletor, which perfect. Kevin Conroy is playing Merman, which
Friend of the show, Kevin Conroy.
Yeah, friend of the show, Kevin
Just
Conroy.
about to say that. Friend of the show. Batman and Kevin Conroy.
2 parts. First part in July. I think I saw on some website. Second part is November. Did I read that right?
It's July 23rd.
Yeah,
and
July
then-
23rd
I
and
think
like
you're right,
November. Yeah. So it looks good. I think we talked about this too, and I just said that the images from this show, I'll cut to Nick real quick, they look really good because they look updated and modern, but they still retain the essence of the cartoons I watched as a kid. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I had that problem with Voltron when Voltron came out, I turned that shit on, and every episode was like an hour long. It was like they did a Netflix style like TV show, like 13 episodes or whatever, an hour long on Voltron. I don't think that's what this is gonna be.
No, it's gonna be like a cartoon, like a 20 to 30 minute runtime.
Yeah, and I think that's what it needs to be, though. It needs to be a cartoon that kids can watch, but adults can get into too.
Well, reading through the article, it seemed to me so there's like 2 concurrent series going on at once. One of them being more geared towards kids, and one's geared towards the fans of the '80s show, and a live action movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there
but
is
they've been
also a
talking about,
live-action
but they've been
movie.
talking about that movie for years. Like after Thor Ragnarok came out, I remember seeing on the internet like, "There's your Masters of the Universe movie. Just do that again," you know?
Mm-hmm. I mean, do we know anything about anything production-wise? I'd love to hear like cast, rumors and shit like that. That's what gets me going. Rumors.
Guys behind a computer.
Rumors by Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
I think we should do a Dreamcast for He-Man now too.
All right.
Well,
I want
Sarah
Terry
Michelle
Crews as
Gellar is
He-Man.
in
I'm
this.
saying it right now.
At least it's
Black He-Man, perfect.
We need
I
it.
love that. I
we
love
do
that.
need it. Who would play Skeletor?
Mark Hamill.
Mark
Oh,
Hamill.
Mark Hamill. Okay,
That old Mark Hamill is playing Skeletor.
He lost
perfect.
a bunch of weight for Star
Did he?
Wars.
Is he
Yeah.
skinny again?
We'll just do
I
the
mean,
Star
I mean,
Wars
he's
thing.
old man. Like.
He got that beer belly.
Yeah,
I mean,
he,
we'll
he
just
lost.
do the
I
Star
remember
Wars
what he
thing, where
said.
we just
I
have
remember-
someone play Skeletor in costume and then being
Wait,
voiced by Mark
I remember
Hamill.
what he said when he was doing Star Wars again. He was like, "They put me on the if it tastes good, I can't eat it diet, and I was at the gym 3 days a week for 2 years before The Last Jedi." Okay, like they were just like, "Let's get this guy in any shape that we can."
Let's get this voice
Okay.
actor in as good of
All
camera
right,
shape as we
that's
can.
that's
Yeah, the dude who's
what it
not been
was.
in front of a camera for years.
You could find
And
that
his
interview.
loving life.
It's on Good Morning America.
Hey,
So, yeah.
and then Mandalorian, they're just like, all right, we're deep faking this one. Just put anybody there, deep fake the face.
Of course.
I
yeah.
mean,
I can't imagine the interview where Mark Hamill was like, "Okay, so what day do I have to be on set?" And you just Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are like,
I thought we told you.
how do I tell you this?" All right, so moving on. Pokemon cards. Pokemon cards. I have one note for this, and it's just, come on, really? Like,
y'all are adults.
like this is what we're doing. And like I said,
Sir, this is a
if
Wendy's.
you're in your mid-30s fighting someone over Pokemon cards in a Target parking lot in the United States in 2021,
In Wisconsin.
we don't need you. You know, you're
Here
holding
is-
everyone back.
Well, this could only happen in America. as
Oh,
well.
that's
Oh,
true. That's true.
100%.
Yeah.
And
Do
in
you think
Wisconsin.
that Pokemon cards are our generation's vinyl records? Like man, it just things,
That hurt my
they were just
brain.
better back then.
Thanks
you know,
for just
bring
so
'em
much.
back.
Thanks for
No,
so
Nick.
much simpler when I had the Pokemans. I don't know why I always go to that guy, but that's the
Yeah.
guy.
Just your classic American.
Yeah.
I'm picturing like our dads, like, oh, vinyl. It just sounds so much
Yeah,
better.
that's fake.
Oh, there he
That's
is.
a fake one.
There it is.
Don't
It's not
buy it from
fake.
Danny.
I mean, it's not first
Okay,
impression, but
so
it's not fake.
now that you're putting that card in my face, I have a story for you. I think I've told this story
$200,000.
before, but it is a great story. So it was my brother's birthday, right? And we were at the grocery store, okay? And you remember how they had the vending machines that sold the Pokemon
The
cards?
trading cards.
Right. Okay. So it was my brother's birthday, and my mom was like, "Okay, let's get him a pack." So they get him like the $10 pack or whatever, right? Because it's his birthday. I got like the $5 booster pack because my parents didn't want me to feel left out, right? Either way,
Classic.
from this point to the car, my brother and I were bothering each other, and I made him cry on his birthday, which thinking about that now makes me smile. Either way, though, either way, he was crying, and I remember he opened up his pack of cards, and he got like nothing good, like a bunch of filler shit, right? And he was upset about that. I had this fucking booster pack with like 5 cards in it, right? I fucking thip, get to the 5th one. I like almost
Thip.
shit my pants right there. It was a fucking holographic Charizard, the very same one that Danny has. I remember I was like, "Oh shit. I got a Charizard. Yo, my brother straight up became that guy from Intervention. That yeah, like that's how hard he started crying when he saw
Here's
that
the real
card.
question: did your parents ask you to give it to him?
That's what I've been waiting on this whole story.
No, never, ever. If they did, I'd be
See,
like, fuck
see,
no.
in my household, my brother would have thrown a tantrum and it'd be like, Nick, you know, like, we'll get you another pack.
You gotta
Just
be the better man.
yeah,
Nick.
just give it to Chris.
I will say this:
no.
there was
not for Charizard.
there was
There's
also-
no high road with Charizard.
there was also other times where I had like a holographic, like what's the crab Pokemon? King
King
Crab.
Crab.
Oh, Goodwill
That's-
Hunting.
What? Yeah, Goodwill
Kingler.
Hunting.
Kingler.
Kingler.
Whatever the fuck. I had a holographic one. Either way, it was like a good card or at the time or whatever,
Mhm.
right? And I misplaced that, but since my brother had such sticky fingers growing up, I was able to blame it on him and like convincingly get away with it. And yo, he cried, like ugly cried, like I didn't do it. I didn't. No one believed him. My dad came home from work and found the card on the shelves. Like, oh, is this what you were looking for? And I just remember my mom, like all this drama over fucking Pokemon cards is my point. You know what I
Which
mean?
now you understand why people were pointing guns at each other in a parking lot. Which, can I just say, when I first read, I wasn't in the production meeting on Thursday. When I first read this story and I saw it in the grid, I thought Pokemon cards were getting recalled because they were causing paper cuts. And like they were too sharp on the edges. I never in a million years would have thought that they were being taken off the shelves because of fighting. This is insane.
Y'all, I got my Pokemon cards from my parents last week.
I don't have
Hold
any
on.
Pokemon
Anything
cards. I don't want my shit broken into, being robbed. I don't got any Pokemon cards here.
No one tell them where I live.
So, did you guys collect any other cards other than Pokemon?
Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh, bro.
kids?
Yeah.
I had the whole
Yu-Gi-Oh.
fucking wrist thing, and we dueled and shit. It was.
That makes sense.
Mhm.
So I know
I-
this is kind of random. Did you guys ever do like get wacky packages? Or
Yeah,
was that
absolutely.
okay?
Oh,
I thought that was
yeah.
just me.
Nah,
No,
Wacky
yeah,
Packages,
absolutely.
Crazy Bones, the
I
little
got crazy.
garbage
I got
kids,
mad
like,
Crazy Bones as a kid. Crazy
Little
Bo-
garbage kids.
I feel like
Little garbage
talking
kid.
about.
for me, like-
garbage pail kids.
like
yeah.
I felt like,
I
Crazy
I like
Bones.
little garbage kids.
I
I
felt
loved Crazy
like
Bones a lot.
Crazy Bones came first. Like I remember that kindergarten, first grade, and then second grade was Pokemon. It was like, yo, go fuck yourself if you're not into Pokemon. And then third and fourth grade was Yu-Gi-Oh, and I was just like, all right, gotta have all these. I can't remember what I had. What the after that it was like, you know, I think it was just
Magic.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
I can't. Magic was like for me, like I bought a pack. I was like, this is too much, and I actually returned. I sold it to my brother for the same
Straight
exact
up what
price.
I did.
Yeah, I was like, this is
looks
it.
cool. I was like, I love all these like, you know, D&D type things like this, and I was like reading through the cards, and I was like, oh my god, this is far too complicated.
Well,
for
not
me.
even
I'll-
that. It was like,
I'll just,
no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I'll tell you guys, I still play Magic.
Hell
I
yeah.
still, like, I got cards, I got decks, I play Magic the Arena, I still play Magic. I something about it. It's funny. I collected the cards in middle school, and it was similar to you guys. I looked at them, I was like, this is too much. I can't wrap my head around this. And it wasn't actually until college that a buddy of mine and I just started talking about Magic just out of nowhere, things that we used to do. And then it was in college I actually got back into it.
That's fucking
And
crazy.
I mean, it's fun as hell. It,
That's-
like it's something. As soon as you
If
wrap
they
your
did-
head around it, it's fun as hell.
if they did like a serious like VR version of like Yu-Gi-Oh, like and you just could play
I love
Yu-Gi-Oh
that
through
joke
VR,
one. I love
that-
the joke one.
that would be the coolest fucking thing ever. I'd be like, I'd play that. Dark Magician, let's
100%.
go.
Get the thing, and then you get
That's
like the
what
VR
the
set.
fuck
and
I'm
thing.
I gotta,
saying,
I gotta,
dude,
I gotta
that
see if I
would
can
be
find ideas
sick.
for y'all. There's a video. There is like a VR version of a Yu-Gi-Oh game, and it keeps coming up either on like TikTok or something. But it's like this guy who's taking it way, way, way too seriously, and the other person's like, "No, that's not how the game is being played. You can't do that." And he's like, "I summon Pot of Greed, which you know lets me draw 3 more cards." And he's like, "That's not what that card does." I'll find the
Which
video.
you know.
We'll share it. It's so funny.
One thing that I do love is all the pictures I've been seeing online of like in the targets of like there will be like a sign that says, we no longer sell Pokemon cards or NHL, MLB, all those. It just goes down a list of cards, and right next to it you see in the corner Magic cards, like still on the shelves because no one gives a shit. And what I love is that I was actually just in a Target today, and I was looking for a baby gift for my little cousin.
For a baby,
for a baby. For totally a baby. And so what I noticed was in the baby section, they had the Magic cards. They actually took them away from the traditional section and put them in the baby toys section.
That's probably because
Magic can't grow their business. You know that. Like, that's it.
Oh, I'm well aware.
And everyone who's into it, that's it. That's all it is. It's like the company will never grow.
One thing that's interesting is that Magic the Arena, which is their online game, actually just recently came out for iOS. And going back to sort of what we were talking about Ubisoft before, was it's a free-to-play game. You can download it, and then if you want other cards, like you can just put money in to then get those cards. However, they do make it easy for you to gain in-game currency and just sort of play it. So I will say, is it going to grow? No. But is it still easy for players like me to play? Yeah.
Can I get a Black Lotus in game?
Oh, dude, that's banned. That's a banned card.
We don't.
All right. Actually,
don't
on
talk
that
about
subject
that.
of shit that should be banned, the Venom Let There Be Carnage trailer came out.
What a name.
God damn it. It's so bad. It's so fucking bad.
Punching.
So, I mean, like, I don't have any particulars. I hate all of it. I hate the fact that this exists. I hate the way it looks, the way it sounds. It just looks like they learned nothing. Woody Harrelson looks like an insane man. Like, I just can't do
that's
it.
the point, right?
Weird choice.
Well,
For like the villain.
And they also
he was
surprised.
surprised.
A younger actor.
He was surprised third act reveal. Like, that's who he was in the first fucking movie. And he had this crazy, like, carrot top looking wig going on. And he was writing in his own blood, Carnage on his cell door. And when they were like, he was like, it's time for there to be carnage or whatever. It's just like, man, fuck you. You're doing it all wrong.
He said it.
Like, you're doing it all wrong. I mean, nobody here saw Venom, right?
No.
Good. It's dog shit. Don't waste your time. It's a piece of shit.
So for somebody like I like Spider-Man casually. Like I saw the Tobey Maguire movies. I didn't see the Andrew Garfield movies, and obviously I love Tom Holland. I watched the cartoon show occasionally, but I do not give a shit about either of these movies. They didn't even try to get anybody on board who was even just like casually aware of the characters. They're just like, we're just gonna do us.
Yeah, well, the unfortunate part is that they have a built-in audience. The last one made like 750 million, like just in the US or some shit. So, it was, it was not good though. I wouldn't count that as a good movie at all. It sucked. And
oh, sorry.
No, you go.
I was literally just gonna ask, who is Carnage?
Okay,
I really don't know.
So
Woody Harrelson.
Carnage.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
So
thank you.
obviously,
Makes sense.
obviously, yeah, it's Woody Harrelson. Obviously, there's different interpretations all across Marvel Comics throughout years. There's different interpretations. However, the one that I am most familiar with, and I think the one that most people are familiar with, is that when Eddie Brock was sent to prison, he shared a jail cell with Cletus Cassidy, who's a murdering psychopath. The symbiote came back and was like, hello, Eddie, and turned him into Venom and broke him out. There was a piece of the symbiote left that was dying, and Cletus Cassidy touches it, which then it feeds off of his craziness and becomes Carnage and like becomes one of the most dead, the crazier symbiote of the two. Obviously, there's been different interpretations where like Venom and Carnage have been buddy and gone after Spider-Man, and then Spider-Man and Venom have gone after Carnage. There has never once been a time where Carnage was a good guy. So he's pretty well known. People really like him. And that's the backstory I know him from. I don't know if they've changed it in any other run or what the official canon is now. But I mean, even then, it's just like, I didn't want the first Venom movie because the Venom is a character that does not work unless Spider-Man exists already. And
Mhm.
That's what
unfortunately,
I was
like,
really gonna ask. Like,
yeah, it's
So now
the-
in this one, are they making Venom the hero? Which I imagine in the first one he was an anti-hero of some types, but now they're really making him like the hero and pitting them against each other.
you know how Deadpool's an anti-hero that he just doesn't give a fuck? Like
Yeah.
he happens to be doing the right thing.
Mhm.
This was like Venom set out to do the right thing, but inherently he's got to eat people's heads.
so what is the
Okay.
what was the
God.
demeanor of the first movie? Because like based off of this trailer, this movie looks like it's trying to be like a comedy.
Well, that
Like,
was kind of there was a
deadass.
comedy angle in Venom for sure, and there was some chuckle funny parts, but also at the same time it would cut to like these scenes of like Riz Ahmed like having no character, monologuing, and it wouldn't be funny at all. You know what I mean? It just wasn't good consistently tone wise, and which is weird
And
because
it was
Ruben.
rated R too, right?
No, it was rated PG-13. Ruben Fletcher was the director, and he directed Zombieland, both the Zombieland films. So I'm
Oh,
kind
okay.
of surprised. Yeah, see, there he is. That's what he fucking looked like at the end of the last one. So I'm kind of surprised that it turned
good
out that
God.
way. You know what I mean? On top of that, I will say this: the new writer and director, I think I'm gonna give him a chance here because I don't know if you guys know this, but it's none other than Andy Serkis is writing and directing this movie.
What?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, Andy
Oh,
Serkis.
Wow.
So, like I said, there's some talent there, and I'm sure he's a lot better behind the camera than Ruben Fletcher. But also, Andy Serkis, he directed that movie called Mowgli, which was like a dark take on the Jungle Book. And like Christian
It was
Bale
like
played,
the book take of the Jungle
yeah,
Book.
Christian Bale played Bagheera and all that shit. Either way, though, it didn't review well, and they just ended up throwing it up on Netflix. So, it could be whatever. But
And they're planning to only release this in theaters right now.
oh yes,
Yeah,
So-
They're swinging for the fences.
that's like
yeah,
that to me is like it's like understanding all of like the general populace hype around superhero movies and whatnot. Like this seems like it's like a real side stretch and side reach. It's almost like a spin-off. It is a spin-off essentially, but it's like you really think this is going to do good box office only?
it's
like,
also
I
Oh,
was
you
just
go.
gonna say I've just been noticing in general with trailers and even just like advertising for movies is that they keep just saying an experience you can only get in theaters, just really just driving home that. Whereas like I heard it on the radio with A Quiet Place 2, which that one, given how successful the
That
first
I
one
believe.
was,
that I
could
believe
see
though.
that is one that I get that.
Because-
That's one I would definitely want to see in
But
theaters.
even in the
But
context, though,
this-
think about it. Like that movie specifically, whether you like it or not, the way the sound was mixed, you need to
Yes.
experience that
You
in
need
full
to hear
surround
it in
sound.
theaters from those beautiful theatrical
But yeah,
speakers.
they're trying to.
The
I get that.
Dolbies.
Yeah,
The Dolby
they're trying to
speakers.
sell the theatrical
Ah,
experience,
yeah.
pretty much. You know what I mean? That's what they're trying to
Mhm.
do with these trailers.
Oh, 100%.
But I'm sorry.
They,
how do-
they
well,
need people to go back to theaters.
What's the deal with trailers saying the trailer starts now?
Yes, that was
Why?
another point that I
I-
had. It's like
I
trailer
clicked on the link.
starts now.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm watching it.
They just literally are like they get that from like the production company. They're like, fuck it, keep it in.
Yeah,
We're not
they-
editing it out.
They
This
went.
is an
They
immersive
had so many.
experience.
They
Yeah.
had so many notes
Well-
back and forth with the production company. At this point, they were tired of
Well,
fighting.
I'll tell you what though, this trailer is night and day compared to our next trailer, which is the Forever Purge. So, have you guys? The only note I have is let's get it. Like I love, the Purge movies are nothing but a schlock fest. That's all they are. They have some cool political commentary. The first one sucked, and the other two were good. I watched the last one. It's just something you're into. They're none of them are going to be objectively well made movies. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, that's the reality of it. However,
That's a good take.
I love this angle of the Purge where there's just a bunch of people in the Midwest that are like, fuck your rules. We're doing whatever we want. You know what I mean? And I tend to believe that with the way these Purge movies work, that it has something to do with like the whole body of government in the Purge is
Yep.
called the New Founding Fathers. And they're just a bunch of white supremacists, like assholes, right? that run the government, I wouldn't be surprised if they made some legislation that allows this to take place. You know what I mean? And that's like the twist or whatever. But I mean, like, what'd you guys think? What'd you guys think? Yeah, it also plays back into the whole political commentary of that movie base. So I want to hear.
I mean, that's the whole.
There's a big part about it, like, oh well, the American government has opened the border, and it's like, okay, I see, you know, like you're doing a reversal on what's going on right now.
Right.
Yeah, like they're definitely trying to be, you know, like a commentary, but I don't know. Overall, I wasn't too like hyped about it.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm kind of with Pat. I've seen pretty much all of the Purge movies. I watched the Purge TV show when it was on whatever streaming platform, and I felt it worked better in a TV show platform because, you know, over like an 8-episode, 8-hour arc, you kind of got a little bit more invested in the character, and it didn't have to be like super. Like I feel if you give it breathing room, you can explore some fun stuff. But every Purge movie, I feel, they put out a trailer and they're like, we're going to be talking about this. And it's like, that seems super like apropos at the time. But now, like a year later, like this is very clearly a reflection of being like, Donald Trump is still the president. That was a fake election. We're going to do whatever we want. Well, it's just dated to me at this point, especially when it's going to come out.
They're like the Saw movies where like they know they have an audience and they're going to put something out that that audience is going to like. You know, everyone likes the idea of the Purge. It's an interesting concept. There's a new a new political party in charge. They've implemented this measure that says 1 night a year, all crime is legal for 12 hours. And because of that, like, crime rate went to 0 and the economy like shot through the roof. And then as you peel back the layers, you see like what effects that has on society.
Yeah.
And I feel like
about class, you talk about disparities.
Exactly.
And
then you find out
concept.
Exactly. It's just
I think we all want a Purge.
Yeah. It's just execution because every movie, because every movie is hit or miss. You know what I mean? Like the first one is just a stupid home invasion movie, and then the second one is full on like they take it to the fucking streets, and it's awesome. The third one, they were like, let's just do that again, and that's what they did. And then the fourth one, they tried to get, you know, introspective with it again, and like, you know, go back to the first Purge, and like, you know. And they set it on. They set it on Staten Island, and they're like, "This is where the first Purge is gonna be. 12 hours, where all crime is legal." And I'm the guy who lives 20 minutes outside of Staten Island. I'm like, "Do you know what Staten Island's like already?" Like, they didn't give a shit about your rules.
Y'all went in there with the film crew.
Yeah.
On a Friday night.
Have you seen Pete Davidson?
Yeah. It's just one of those things like, have you been? They don't give a fuck about your rules when it comes to committing crime.
There already are no rules out there.
Yeah, it's Staten Island.
No clause.
Yeah, I mean, I watched the trailer. The only note I have about this is literally, okay. That's all I have to say.
Yeah,
okay.
that's fine.
Right.
I'll do that.
I do give them a lot of credit. They do some really good trailer work, like with all of the like the visuals and the costumes and stuff. That looks mad cool. Like the dude who's got like skeleton teeth, but they're bullets. That's cool.
Sorry. I meant to say I have one other note. Mask budget must have been huge. Masks are dope as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Yeah.
Also from like looking at the last year in society, you're not gonna have people with these complicated masks out. You would have a dude with like a Tweety Bird freaking bandana covering his nose. With like a 6-shooter.
Everybody
purging out in Montana.
Everybody's wearing a fucking Guy Fawkes mask. Oh, you got one too? Like, I thought it was just
Joe
me.
Rogan shirt on.
Yeah.
I really hope there's like, I hope there's like a QAnon shirt somewhere in there.
And there's a big online presence, but only like 13 of them show up to the actual Purge site.
Also,
like Area 50.
Where are the fat people?
They like,
these are all like military tactical.
They like take pictures.
Where are the
They take selfies and light flares. They don't kill anyone.
No
like,
neck beard, not a single neck beard in sight.
I was actually gonna say that one neckbeard in overalls just shows up with his face painted silver and a sickle.
Katana.
Yeah, like a sickle, and he just stabs the one mailman.
Headwear.
Fedora.
Yeah, and he just stabs one. Ah, what the fuck? You know, and even he's like, "Oh God, I'm so fucking sorry." You know, like,
I've never seen so much blood.
yeah.
I want a scary movie rendition
Actually-
of The Purge
actually,
now. Like,
I want this. I think this is a good skit idea. Quite honestly.
yeah. Dude,
Oh
like,
man, we
This
just
is way
sold a
better.
better movie than the Forever Purge did. So, all right.
And that's all we have to say.
Okay, so main topic tonight, boys. We're talking about our favorite summer movies. I want to point out, Nick, I think it's interesting that for this thumbnail, you chose Jaws on a TV screen for two reasons. One, Jaws was the first movie to ever be coined the summer blockbuster in 1975.
It's almost like I did that on purpose.
Well, I
know.
thought
See,
you
now
were
that's
just
an actual fact, not.
yeah, that's not a Pat fact.
But
That's
I
an
thought,
actual-
okay,
an
I
actual
thought he was
fact.
just going for a beach angle, right? Like just like favorite summer movies.
No,
and
Jaws is
and when
the
I
first
first
summer
saw it, I was like,
blockbuster.
who the fuck's gonna pick Jaws? No one was around in 1975. I was like, what was the
I don't know
asshole?
about
He was like,
y'all.
yeah, I saw Jaws when it got put out again in like 2003, like at Cranford Theater. You know, I couldn't see anything, but it was fine.
Well, what's the other part of that fun fact?
That was
You
it.
said you said two reasons.
Oh yeah,
Second
the
reason
second
Jaws is
reason
cool.
was because like who the fuck would have picked Jaws? I didn't think that was a fact.
Pat fact.
You gave him the reason why he picked Jaws. It was the first summer blockbuster.
All right, whatever. Anyway,
So yeah, what are we talking about, Pat?
so we're talking about our favorite summer movies that we saw in theaters. We kind of talked about like a month, like I would say like nowadays it's a little bit bigger because, you know, everybody's trying to get a summer blockbuster out. But it used to be last week in April, first week of May to last week of July, first week of August is like the summer movie months, because then like the last 3 weeks of August everyone's on vacation. So like nobody's seeing movies, and kids start going back to school. Old people start walking in the mall again, so they don't get the air conditioning of the movie theater. You know, it's just, these are things that they take into consideration. It's cold inside theaters. Kids are out of school. There's more free time, you know? So, I mean, for me, I saw a bunch of movies as a kid in the summer. I just saw a fucking movie the other day. What am I even going on about? But my point is that we picked two that we did like and one that we didn't like. That's kind of our thing around here. And I'm going to go
Yo,
first.
2-for-1er.
I'm going to go first. Okay. I'll tell you
All right.
guys a fucking, I had like a lot to work with because I just started going back with old movies that I saw as a kid, right? The first one that kept coming up though was 2002's Spider-Man.
Okay.
Directed
wait,
by-
wait, so that was the first one with Tobey Maguire, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
No, it's the other one. Ric Flair was actually
Well,
Spider-Man.
no, I
in
was
this
just
movie.
making sure. I didn't know if it was the Spider-Man 2. I'm sure you would have
No,
said that.
fucking
Never
hell.
mind. Forget
So,
it.
Is that
Thanks,
I
Spider-Man.
I could have picked Spider-Man 2, but I went with Spider-Man 1 because I saw it on my birthday. I think I was turning like 10 or 11, right? And I remember my cousin was taking me to the theater, and she was like looking at movie times. This is like when you used to look at movie times in the fucking newspaper. And she was like, "Oh, I see they have one at 9:30." She's like, "You can't go to the 9:30. You'll never stay awake." I go, "No, I think I'll be able to." So she called up Movie Phone to buy fucking tickets.
Movie
And the
phone.
9:30 at Menlo Park Mall, which was still theaters, by the way, not like this dining shit that
Bougie.
they have going on. Yeah, bougie, pretty much. 9:30 was sold out, so they offered her the 10 o'clock, and she went and she bought it. And motherfuckers, I stayed up that whole goddamn movie. It was awesome. This is the first
So
movie
proud
I've
of you.
ever seen where the bottom of the screen was just people's heads.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
Where, like it was a packed theater.
Yeah, it was the first time I was ever like, holy shit, a lot of people go to these things, you know?
I wonder what my first movie was like in a fully packed theater. It might have been like the Pokemon 2000 movie.
Oh
See,
yeah.
I went see
No, that might have been the same.
when
for
I
me.
was that young though, and I saw movies. I normally didn't go on Friday and Saturday nights. I usually went on Fridays at like 4:30 or 3:30, like right out of school. Like my mom and all the moms would take the kids to go see like Finding Nemo or like whatever the hell was out that kids would see right over in Danny, you would know. Do you remember the Oak Tree movie theater? Like right on Oak Tree Road? Movie City is what it was called.
Yup.
Yeah, it had all the art.
that one.
Okay, I would be there on Friday afternoons seeing a movie.
Yeah.
And
My mom would. Oh no, go ahead.
there you go.
I was just gonna say my mom never worked on Mondays. It was just like as a hairdresser, us hair salons are pretty much closed on Mondays for the most part. So I grew up going to movies at like noon on a Monday during the summer when there was literally nobody there.
It was the best.
It was the greatest thing.
I saw Ice Age there too. All right. Anyway, go on. Who's next?
All right, are we doing?
We're doing
just
the
going one for one?
normal way. Yeah.
Dig.
Danny,
wanna
why don't
go?
you go?
Okay, yeah, I can go. So,
Bert,
I
why don't you
have
go?
a
Why don't you
little
go right
bit
now?
I have a little bit of background for it. So, mine were actually not like when I think of summer movies, we used to do this thing in like our neighborhood where our buddy had like a pool in his backyard, and his dad had got a projector and like a big screen. So I remember like we used to like everybody in the neighborhood would go over to their house, and one of the dudes worked up. One of the parents worked up by the city, and he worked like near the docks and stuff, so he was able to get like all of the bootlegged DVDs for like things that were out in theaters.
Nice. I was wondering who's gonna bring up the bootlegs.
Oh yeah. So like I like vividly remember like every week it would be like a Friday or it'd be something like that. We would have like movie night where everybody would go over in like the dark. It was dark, so we would like night swim. They would get everything set up. The adults would be drinking. And when you watch a movie
Who's
from
in
the
my
pool.
mouth? Anyway.
Damn.
Playing Marco Polo.
Yeah, man. Like it was like that's like such a vivid summer like suburban nostalgia memory for me. And I remember one of the ones. We'll get into my other ones later, but Accepted, we watched with Justin Long and
Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill.
Ask me
Be
about my
wiener.
wiener.
Like I vividly remember like losing my absolute shit in the pool, like with that movie, and the parents being like, "This is kind of racy."
Bro, I love the part of that movie where Lewis Black is just like fucking A after he has the meeting with the parents, or the kid who actually blows up the fucking car.
I actually did it. But I remember like for a while my dad was like, God, I love Lewis Black. Like I just love being able to like I wish I could just get away with talking like Lewis Black.
Just knowing your dad, trying to picture him do a Lewis Black routine.
But that's my my other ones aren't going to be about in theaters. They're going to be about two other films in the same experience.
I feel like mine are exclusively theaters, but go on. Who's next? Danny, you're up.
All right. My first one is Men in Black, July
that's
2nd,
right. We talked.
1997. Good
year.
It wasn't my first ever movie in theaters, at least according to my mom, but it's the first one that I remember going to see in theaters. Went with my mom, my brother, my older cousin, and I just remember having no clue what was going on, but I was loving it. I loved Will Smith. I was like, I don't know who that guy is, because I don't remember watching Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
That guy's got
5 years
But
old.
I was
at the
like,
time.
for 5 years old, I was like, this guy's got some charisma. And he was so cool. And I remember I got in trouble afterwards for quoting his NYPD line. NYPD means I will knock your punk ass down. And I would just quote that in my house. And my mom got so pissed because I kept saying punk ass. But
did you
really
tell
what it
her?
is,
Did you tell her that you would knock her punk ass out?
Yeah, Danny, do you have siblings?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I had a brother who I would tell who then would immediately knock my punk ass down because he's 4 years older. But I would tell my mom that when she told me to go to bed. But either or, it was also like Will Smith was obviously known at the time. He was a star in his own right.
Bro, he was in Wild Wild West, which was almost one of my choices.
Wild West.
Okay.
Well, so here's the thing. Well, so Wild
remember
Wild
the
West
Burger
came
King toys
after
for
Men in
that.
Black.
Yeah.
Wild Wild West came after Men in Black because Men in Black launched him to superstardom. He was already a star, but this is what launched him to being a summer blockbuster staple.
A box office draw, pretty much. Yeah.
A box office
Wait,
draw.
was
Exactly.
it this? Hold on. Was it this or was it Independence Day that did that? I thought it was
I think
Independence Day.
was 98.
Yeah, I think it was after that, wasn't it?
I believe so. We can quickly fact check.
Well, I mean, we don't have to fact check right now. I don't think it's that big of a deal. But
Oh,
I thought it was
Independence Day.
Independence. I thought it was Independence Day. But then again, I also saw Will Smith in this and Wild Wild West before I saw him in Independence Day at any point in my life. But okay.
Right. Well, even if Independence Day actually came out before, he was obviously a star in it, but this was the one where it was him, Tommy Lee Jones, but he was the vehicle. Like he was the whole movie. But either or, that's mine. Men in Black 1, which I believe actually on this show we have our own Men in Black star. Is that correct?
Yep. I'm an alum of the franchise.
Friend of the
Men in
show,
Black.
alum of the franchise.
Friend of the show. I was in Men in Black 3 as an extra.
So you were in
Wait, I was gonna say.
Wait.
Oh, all right. You get to see it.
You
You
get-
my
you get the-
abdomen.
You get the good shot. We don't know if that's actually Nick or not, but
It may or may not be. Yeah. So the story that I always tell for this experience, it was like 1 week. It was like 5 days I was on set for Men in Black 3, and we were walking off set. It was hot as balls, and we were saying that it was me and this guy Justin. We're walking down the street, leaving set. They released us to go get lunch, and oh man, it was so hot in there because they turned off the air conditioning, so the sound didn't mess with the sound of the air conditioner didn't mess with the audio. And Josh Brolin just walks in between us. He's like, "Yeah, it was so hot in there," and just strikes up a conversation with us. And like, cool, dude. We're walking down the street trying to play it cool, like we're just talking to a regular guy, and then we're going to Holding to take a right, and he has to go to his trailer, which is a left. He's like, "All right, I'll catch you guys later." Takes a step in front of us, puts both his hands behind his back, and gives us behind the back low five and takes off. And I'm like,
I've never heard that
That's
part
so
of the story.
that is a cool person.
And
right
then
there.
Josh Brolin was never seen again.
And that's on God, baby girl.
That's cool. That you got balls to go for the hidden low five, behind the back low five.
Dude, that's
Wow,
He was like, "Let me
freaking
flex
cool.
on these extras real quick.
Yeah.
You guys want to come back
I'll
to my
take that
trailer and
time,
huff
what you
paint?
think?
It'll be fun."
That's cool.
All
That's
right.
awesome.
Okay. That is good. But Nick, you haven't said your movie yet.
That's all I got is that story.
Oh, okay.
No, so summer of 2015, Mad Max Fury Road. That is the movie I think I remember the best, leaving it just being so amped up about the experience that I had. I don't really generally leave the theater, just gushing, but that movie I just remember like how impressed I was with the visual storytelling, and I mean this has been a running theme for me. Show don't tell. Just one of the most visually intriguing stories I've ever seen, and I wasn't really even a big fan of the of the Mel Gibson Mad Max movies, but that one really blew me away.
What's
That's
so funny you
That's
mentioned
so
about
funny.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned the thing about the visual storytelling, just because that movie, it obviously had screenwriters, but they actually gave a writing credit to the guy who built the storyboard
Oh,
for
yeah?
it, because it was such a visual medium that obviously the
That's
storyboard
cool.
was incredibly
I mean,
important to telling
yeah.
the story.
What-
They gave that guy a writing credit.
What I
Oh,
don't,
yeah.
when I first saw that movie, and I think all of you know this because I remember I had saw that it got a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes. I was like, God damn, I didn't think this was gonna be that good. And then I read that there were like amazing characters, this amazing story. I went and saw the movie, and the entire time I was watching it, I was like, all right, when's it gonna pick up? All right, when's it gonna pick up? What's going on? Like, we haven't really talked about the plot yet. And then, they drive in a straight line. They're like, what we're looking for is not here. Let's go back. And they just, they go right back. I left that theater being genuinely confused. I didn't know why people really got behind it. Like, I have it didn't dawn on me till later on that the shit I was watching was 95% practical. Like that the shot composition is unmatched by most action films. The color palette is so imaginative. The one part where Charlize Theron puts that guy's hose in the wheel and it rips his face off. Another highlight. But it's funny. I remember leaving that theater, not like jaded, not like cynical, but being like, wow, what's fucking, I don't really get it. And that actually, that movie genuinely crossed my mind to be on my worst.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Because even when I
Wow.
watched it again, I was like, I just don't fucking get why people are like,
the thing
holy
thing
fuck.
Is I haven't seen a movie yet that has been able to top Fury Road as far as building a universe around itself, because you might not have seen any of the other movies, which I actually haven't seen any of the other Mad Max movies
I like the
until
Road
this one.
Warrior. The Road Warrior is my favorite.
And I just knew exactly what was going on, what the hierarchical structure of the society was. It really just threw you in, and even though it didn't tell you, well, here's this guy's status, I knew exactly what was going on, and it was just perfect.
Yeah, that's what I really liked about it, because like the storytelling was very unassuming,
Mhm.
and it was not spoon fed, but you got everything you needed. Like it was like I really like the visual elements of that film, because I feel it harkens back to a lot of like the older Mad Max movies, where it's like some of the shots for a movie that comes out in 2015, it does not look like an action movie that was shot in 2015. Like a lot of them look like not dated, but like callback
Vintage.
shots.
It's
Yeah.
like it's like the way
Which,
the
like, yeah,
it's like the
coming
way
out
the
of the
first
theater, I was like-
Conjuring is shot. That movie looks like it's shot in the 70s. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
But
But I will say I recently just watched Mad Max Fury Road again because, Pat, I had the same feeling as you, where
we
I
all
was like,
I remember we all said the same thing.
me, you, and Joe all had the same feeling. Joe and I literally rewatched it just a couple of weeks ago. After it was done, I was like, I like the movie now. Especially now, like everything that we just said, I also I had heard about and read about and watched YouTube videos about. Watch the whole thing again. I was just like, okay, now I actually do like and enjoy the
I gotta watch
movie.
that one again, because like I saw this whole video of like
Give it another chance.
the actual like motion between like where the gun is pointing, where the motorcycle jumps, where the motorcycle lands, to where the car is driving, to where the gun is now. I was like, God damn it, they put this all together in their heads
Everything is
before
so
they
smart.
just it's fucking crazy. So my next one, I guess. So I kind of cheated here. I have 2 movies written down, but I'm not going to tell an amazingly long story. It happens in the same summer, which a lot of people forget. So there you go. There's a real fucking fact that people forget about this.
Can I guess the year?
Yes.
Is it 2008?
Yes.
Dude, okay,
Okay.
mine too.
Okay.
Wait, does Christopher Nolan have something to do with this?
Of course he does.
No. Why would it?
2008 had Iron Man and The Dark Knight in one summer, and
Christopher Nolan,
I
there we
saw
go.
both of them at midnight at 15 years old, and I didn't realize that I would still be talking about these movies however many fucking almost 15 years later. You know what I mean? But in The Dark Knight was the first time I went and saw a movie that I was so amped up for that even like the people in my life were like, "Hey, enjoy that shit because you've been looking forward to it." And I remember that's the first time I went there. I mean, went to a movie theater, and it was the first time I saw people dressed up as characters from the movie.
Yeah.
Like it was that type of like dudes painted up as the Joker, and like I had the thought, I was like, what if this sucks? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what if this is actually really bad? And this was before Rotten Tomatoes. This was like before IMDb was really big. You know, these were just message boards that I was hanging out on, and people were like spreading all these like wild, like I saw it, I like the Joker dies, and like spoilers, but the Joker doesn't die, but they were spreading all these bullshit until finally, like I remember I saw the movie. I got home probably like 3 or 4 in the morning, was so amped I couldn't go to sleep, and I had summer school the next day because I was a dickhead and I failed English.
You fail English.
I failed English my freshman year. Yeah,
It's your native language, Pat.
doesn't mean I can write it. You know, I can speak it. Well, I mean,
all we have to do is look back a few weeks back to when Pat said liably legalable, and we'll.
all right.
There's
I
your
may not
evidence
be
of
able to
Pat
speak.
not being able to manage
You
English.
can't fucking tell time because that was months ago. But and just Iron Man in general, we all know what that movie did. We don't have to go over it. We have a whole video on our channel going over what that movie did. And I will say this. That was the first time I had ever gone to a movie at midnight with somebody else's parents, and that makes all the fucking difference. The tone was totally different. This guy didn't want to be there. My parents would always be like, "Oh, let's at least, have a good time." They go to the movies at midnight. They feel like big kids. This guy was like, "Fuck you. I don't want to be here. I don't want to take you here. Nobody better enjoy this." And you want to know what? Even Iron Man, as we walked out of the theater, we get in this guy's car, he's driving me home, and he just goes, "It's a good fucking movie." Like, that was all he had to say. But yeah, no, those are mine. Iron Man and really it's just The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight was really the one that was like, holy shit. But
I think back to what my reaction was around the time that Dark Knight came out. I didn't see it in theaters, and I remember people freaking out that Heath Ledger had died.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is the big deal? He's an actor. Who gives a shit? Like, and just being so jaded, I'm like, I'm too cool. And then I eventually got around to seeing the movie when it came out on TV, and just like learning the Joker monologue in the hospital, and just like that was one of the things that made me want to do acting as a profession for a period of time in my life. That's
cool.
That's why I was in Men in Black 3, was because of that movie.
That's so cool.
I will say this.
Because of Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
I auditioned for plays with those monologues back in the day. And I remember there was a show I did when I was like 14. It was during the summer. And it was this show called A Thurber Carnival. It's like a really dated like skit show. I don't know. It's fucking stupid. They had some guy come in and like update the jokes. It's so fucking old. So I remember I auditioned for that show just by listening to the clips that were on IGN's website of Heath Ledger doing his whole Joker thing. And I just memorized them. And they were like, "Yeah, do you have your monologue?" I was like, "Oh, I'm just going to wing it." They were like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm just going to, it'll be fine." And I actually got cast in quite a lot of parts in that show. So, maybe I should go back to doing that. Just fucking memorizing monologues from.
Harken back to what works, right?
Yeah, but
I just remember like that Halloween afterwards. Everybody was a
oh
Joker.
my god,
the worst.
Many jokers.
I remember my mom.
I think it was my
asking
first
me.
high school Halloween.
No, it was our second one. It was our second one.
Oh, it was our second one. It was
Yeah.
our second one. Okay. But yeah, it was just everyone was the Joker.
I remember even like cool people were the Joker and lame people were the Joker.
The only thing they could agree upon.
It was like
And we had the Spider-Man pointing meme.
It was like
it
it was like when the popular chick and the lonely chick accidentally wore the same sweater on dress down day or something, It was like
they
that
beat
sort
the
of
shit out of that lonely.
Yeah, it was like that sort of kinetic energy, that sort of lightning that was that same Halloween someone dressed up as a big sperm cell too. It was just a sea of jokers and a sperm cell right there, right in the middle.
And I think the sperm won.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the sperm.
stand out,
The
right?
competition, yeah.
I remember that specific Halloween. I think I put together like a Darth Vader costume with like a cape and a helmet. That was it. And the helmet I had since I was like 10. I was like, this
Right.
barely fits, but whatever. I didn't do the
that
Joker.
year I was George Harrison for Halloween.
I wore a sweater vest.
I was in tune with culture back in high school.
Nick, I was.
Nick came to school and was like, why are all these Jokers here?
Look at all these Jokers.
these plebes, they're so uncultured.
Yeah.
Freshman year, me and three other friends were Sergeant Pepper. And we bought the shiny felt and sewed our own costumes.
Mike, that's cool. I was Regular. I was like George Harrison in plain clothes.
Can't you guys tell?
All I did was like I just like combed my hair differently and like put on a different shirt. I was like George Harrison from the Beatles.
Can't you guys
know
tell?
him?
Is it not obvious that I'm George Harrison from the Beatles?
Every time someone asks, "What are you?" Nick just let out a pretentious ah.
Much.
Um,
You
Yeah,
might
we-
not have heard of the Beatles.
We had like a show. I was on like my high school's show that played during like free period, and I had a segment, and it was like 30 seconds long every week, where I just was like, "This day in Beatles history," and I would just be like, "John Lennon said this famous quote," like.
John Lennon
that would
died.
later be quoted by Kevin Conroy in a cameo.
Yeah, exactly.
Big circle boy.
Now there's a pat back for you.
Anyway, let's
All right, yeah, let's move.
I'll keep
yeah, let's
going.
move on.
So
Burke, you're up.
I saw what 2008 had,
Mm.
and I was like, I know Pat is gonna like. I was like, I'll pick different ones.
we'll
And
touch-
2008 was a absolute banger for stoner comedies.
Oh fuck, dude! I can't believe I didn't. Yeah, I know which way you're gonna go.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall, Step
Ooh.
Brothers, Pineapple Express, Tropic Thunder, all come out within like 3 to 4 months of one another.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking at that, and I was like, I was scrolling the list, searching. And I was like, how in the absolute hell did this happen? Like, that is such a
Well,
specific.
which
like,
one is
for,
it?
For like one to come out and then one not to influence the other a year later. I didn't realize they were that truncated.
Well, which one is it? Which one did you like? I mean, my favorite
Out of
out of that
the-
list is Tropic Thunder for sure.
Out of those, Step Brothers is probably the one I've seen the most. Pineapple Express might be the one I enjoy the most.
I do
That's-
like.
That's a favorite for me.
Yeah, me is. I mean, like I said, I like Tropic Thunder. I think I love Pineapple Express and Tropic Thunder. I think they're both amazing. But Tropic Thunder has this amazing performance by Robert Downey Jr. that you don't
Who just came
realize.
out in Iron Man
Yeah,
months before.
Yeah, that you don't realize is an amazing performance. He got nominated for an Oscar for that
For
performance.
blackface.
Yes, for
going
blackface in
blackface.
2008. But like that's the thing. The whole point of the character is the absurdity of this guy being in blackface when they have a black actor who they just won't cast. Like that's that joke. That fucking that's our people. What do you mean our people? You know, that's where they
What
got
do you
that's where that
mean,
joke
our people?
What do you
yeah.
mean,
What do you
our
mean our
But
people?
I mean that cast was super stacked. You know, like
And-
you had Nick Nolte, Jack Black. Who else was it?
Mother
Everybody.
Nature just
Cruise.
pissed her pants. Tom
Cruise.
Cruise.
Everyone
Cruise.
forgets about the fact that holy shit, that's Tom Cruise.
Matthew
Dude,
McConaughey.
yeah.
I
Matthew
will
McConaughey.
never forgive. I will never forgive my mom for this. She got out of the theater seeing Tropic Thunder, called me up. Nick, you gotta see Tropic Thunder. It was so funny. You just try and guess. Try and guess who Tom Cruise is in it. You're never gonna guess. You're never gonna guess who Tom Cruise is. He's the manager, Lex Grossman. I'm like, why would you tell me? Why would you tell me that's him?
You're never gonna
Interesting.
guess.
Tom Cruise actually read a lot of criticism that he could not do comedy.
Yeah.
So he heard through the grapevine that Ben
Yeah.
Stiller was putting this mega production together. Ben Stiller directed the film, if you guys didn't know that. And
Yep.
he fucking called him and was like, I want a part in this movie. He's like, because I want to prove that I can do comedy. And Ben Stiller was like, no fucking problem, bro. Whoever. And so obviously,
Tom Cruise wants it.
yeah.
Yes.
So obviously,
Yep.
so then he plays Lex Gross. Like, what is it? He's like, we don't negotiate with terrorists. I will
We don't
find
neg-
you. I will fuck
Wait.
you in your whole face. Like,
Oh, that he then yells at him, and then he hangs up and says, "We don't negotiate with terrorists."
That's right.
And then he
That's
gets
it.
a big round of applause.
Matthew
and
Mc-
then the
Matthew
Get Back
McConaughey.
dance that he does at the end.
Yeah, at the very end.
Matthew McConaughey,
Amazing.
Yeah, Matthew
with the fucking
McConaughey.
TiVo, where he throws
Bill
the
Hader.
TiVo and
Andrew
then,
wants a TiVo. He gets a
and,
TiVo.
and it hits the fucking grenade in the grenade launcher. Or like when Robert Downey Jr. says like, my legs, they're cold. And Ben Stiller's like, well, yeah, you're laying in a puddle. So
Oh, would you look at that? Oh, also, let's not forget, just to draw attention, Tom Cruise did say the N-word in that movie as well.
yo,
He did say the N-word
At
in that
what
movie.
point? Wait, at what point?
When he's trying to sell Matthew McConaughey on letting Ben Stiller's character die so that they could start like a scholarship and so that he could then get a G5. It was like, you're talking G5? He says the N-word in that scene.
With an A, not with an ER, right?
I don't remember.
yeah, it
I
had to
can't
be with
remember
an
that.
A. It had
That
to
makes a big difference.
I understand, but I
Not
will
to say
I,
either one is you
that
know,
word,
I'm not,
that
I'm not the
movie,
one to say,
that
but-
movie also had a I mean, that movie's like, you know, you can't make that movie today.
it's
But also,
problematic.
it had the R word in it too, which I know
That's
Oh,
like
yeah.
at the fucking-
titular line
at
of,
the
like, yeah.
fucking time, bro. People in my life were absolutely, they were like, it doesn't matter how good of a movie it is or what context it's in. He uses the word and he can't use. It's like, Jesus Christ. It's like, would you at least be open mind to what the fuck is going on? Like,
Oh, I had the opposite response where like he was like, you never go full
they
on.
were actively like, yeah,
Yeah.
let's use it.
Everybody, every single person that I know was like, that was just the instant like, you know, quoted line.
I feel
Yep.
people still quote that today.
People
quote that
still
left
quote
and
that
right.
today. Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely. Whose movie was that?
That was,
Burke?
well,
Mikey
technically,
I
Burke's
was
was
at
like
the-
the string of
yeah.
movies.
Okay. So then,
I
Danny,
think
you're
that
up.
was all of our movie.
Well, so I mean, my next one actually, my love one was Pineapple Express actually.
Perfect.
And
I
it
want to
was-
talk about that
and- yeah.
too.
Exactly. And so the reason I chose it, not only it's an amazing movie, it's hysterical, it's got great action, but it was the first R-rated movie that I snuck into. I bought a ticket, I believe, for Up. It was like Up was on like its last legs in theaters, which Up was an amazing movie, but at this point it was out for like a couple of months. And I remember I bought a ticket for Up, and I believe it was a couple of us, and we went and then just snuck into Pineapple Express, and it was amazing. There were so many jokes I just didn't understand as well, being like a 14 or 15-year-old. But I just remember thinking this movie is hysterical. I've never smoked weed before, but I totally get everything that they're
Food's-
talking about.
Food's
so
still
accurate.
warm.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just
I
like
love-
I've never
like I
smoked
said,
weed, but this is hysterical.
Craig
You're
Robinson
like
is the best
little
in that
brother on
movie.
the side being like, yeah, that's funny. Like, that's hysterical.
Craig
Well, what's so
Robinson.
funny is the next day I told my older brother who saw it legally probably 2 nights before, or in fact, well, we saw it on the same night, different theaters. I was like, oh, I saw Pineapple Express. He was like, I bet you didn't get half the fucking movie. And I was like, maybe, but fuck you, it was great.
I saw that movie with 2 of my friends, and my sister bought tickets, right? And we snuck in because we bought tickets to whatever too, and I laughed so fucking hard when he was like, "You just got fucked up by a Daewoo, son."
You got Daewoo,
Or I love when Danny McBride. I mean, there's a whole bunch of great stuff, but Danny McBride is like, they're in the Daewoo and he's like getting all amped up for the fight and everything for the final whatever shootout, and they get there and they're like, "All right, you ready?" He goes, I don't know if I could do this. I'll see you guys later." And he like actually like goes in a circle like, "All right, I'll see you guys," and then drives away. Like, Craig Robinson, food still
Amazing.
warm.
Yeah.
Food still warm.
I think that movie
Y'all
was the
got
one
some
that made me
drugs?
aware of most of that crew.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't
Yeah.
aware of any of the
100%.
actors.
I would
until
agree.
That introduced so many of those guys. And also, I love how the fact that like really the parts were sort of written reversely, where like it was supposed to be what's it called, James Franco playing the Seth Rogen character, and they just kind of decided, and then Seth Rogen was playing the drug dealer, and they just kind of decided
this way.
to flip it. They were just like, wait, why don't we just flip it? Or whether they decided to write a movie with their roles flipped, I'm not sure how it all came about. But it's just, you think about it, you would think Seth Rogen would be the stoner drug dealer. Instead, no, he's just the stoner guy, and James Franco is the hysterical drug
I love
Well,
now
like,
that you're
it's-
saying this, I love the plot point where it's like it's basically just a 25-year-old who's in love with an 18-year-old, and when he's at the payphone and he gets back together with her, "I want to get married." And he's just like,
Ah.
Oh, think my
There's
favorite.
so many
is-
relatable feelings in that movie now.
Danny McBride's character in that whole movie is like
See this?
that was I think the first time I've ever
Shave my
seen him.
armpits.
Shave
Makes
my
me more
armpits.
makes me more aerodynamic when I fight.
He's making the cake for his cat, and they're like, "Where is your cat?" He's like, "I don't know." He's like, "It died a couple months ago."
He died a couple months ago.
He's like,
but I
he's
still
like,
like to
"Don't
make
worry,
a
bro."
cake.
He's like, "Don't worry, it's going to heaven." He's like, "Maybe." Cat was a little fucker. He could have gone to hell.
I love at the end when they're sitting in like the diner and he just closes his eyes. It's just like, oh, lost consciousness there for a second. I lost a lot of blood. I lost a good amount of blood.
I think my favorite quote is, "I thought hurricane season was over."
He's eating. He's like, trying not to let the food fall out of his mouth.
that movie's the first movie that made me want to engage in a living room brawl where you're just fucking smashing things over each other.
Oh, when they go in the bathroom and he's under the door. Oh,
Yeah.
it's so brutal.
I love how the fight's over and Seth Rogen still comes in. This ends now! And throws him into a wall.
yeah, this movie's good. I love it. All right,
But yeah, so that was my last love
Nick, you're up.
movie.
So I was gonna go with a different movie until we started talking about it, like comedies, and it sparked an idea. I was gonna say Terminator 2, which came out the same year I was born, so it's just like that was on TV a lot when I was growing up. But I went with Zoolander, which
Oh my God, so good.
1997, September of 97. That is one of my formative comedy movies.
Great
And
movie.
I mean, just like, again, incredible cast. A lot of the same guys from Tropic Thunder is why it made me think of it.
That was in '97.
97.
97.
That's one of those
Unbelievable.
movies I've seen in like parts. I've never seen the whole way through. And the
Oh
one
my
time,
God.
the one time I
Dude, you have
started
to-
it, the
you
one
love
time I
it.
started it, I was like, I can't do this.
Really?
Really.
Incredible movie. Hysterical.
So you've shot down both of the movies that I brought
I'm
to the
sorry.
table.
I'm sorry.
And
To
Nick,
be
I'm
fair,
here.
I don't
I'm
know-
here
I
to
don't know
raise you up. Beautiful movie.
I don't know if I would have
Incredible
if I
choice.
watched
Thank
that
you,
movie
Danny.
today for the first time. I don't know how I would react towards it because my friend Cole, like he was not into like any of these movies. He never saw like the Step Brothers. He didn't see this whole genre of movies, and we've tried to show him them, and he's just like it's just I feel it was like at such a specific perfect
Right.
point in like our lives that we got to see a lot of these movies that were so formative to
I
I
feel
think
I
it's
kind of
like-
feel
it's
like the
perfect.
last one was This Is the End. You know what I mean? Like where the fuck did all these movies go after that?
And I mean, what a way to end it.
It was
I
the
mean,
end.
it's kind of
Yeah.
it's kind of biblical.
And apparently
in
there's been
so many ways,
there's been
but-
sequel plans for that movie for, since it came out and it was such a big hit and everything. But I mean like
Were there really?
say just leave
that was
it as
part of
it
the
is.
plot. Wasn't there? That was like part of the plot of the movie, right? Where they were like talking about making a movie within the movie.
yeah.
yeah.
I don't know if
Oh,
there was ever
Pineapple
maybe a
Express
sequel.
too.
How do
It's
you-
the
like, they're
people's
just
weed.
hanging
We
out
gotta
in
get
heaven
the
after
people
that.
back their weed.
It's the people's.
It's the
weed.
people's weed.
People's
But-
But yeah,
No.
Zoolander, I think is one of the all-time great comedies of that era, and really made me like appreciate Ben Stiller as not just an actor, but like a behind-the-camera type of guy.
I
didn't
have
know
a
he directed
actual
that.
fact, not a Pat fact.
Let's hear it.
Oh, real fact.
So you know in like the when he's talking to the dude who's the hand model in the cemetery.
David Duchovny.
is David Duchovny. I forgot that he plays him. So
I'm a
It's a
finger
whole-
jockey.
yeah,
I'm
he has
I'm
a
not like
whole-
you.
We're hand
I'm
models.
a finger jack.
We're hand models. We're bred differently.
So David Duchovny has a whole monologue that's like a very exposition heavy, like this is where the story is gonna go, in response to why male models. And then after he goes and tells the whole thing, Ben Stiller just deadpan looks at him and goes, "So why male models?" And he's like, are you kidding me? I just went over that whole thing. That's dead ass because Ben Stiller forgot his line, and then Dave Duchovny improv. He's like, are you fucking kidding? I just told you this whole way. And they left it in the film because it's so good.
That's
He
hysterical.
gets up to go and he steps on the cryogenic. He's like, "You freaking idiot!"
Oh,
But why male models?
The TV version of that movie is also hysterical with like all of the substitutes and all of like the clean versions of it.
I
Like, do
won't,
yourself a favor and just watch that.
I've seen the TV version, and there was this one line that was obviously cut, and like it's the orgy scene where like they have the crazy orgy with the one chick, and she wakes up, she goes, what time is it? He's like 4 p.m. She's like 4 p.m. He's like, hey, how about a thanks for the awesome freak fest last night? Letting you sleep it off.
There's
Right.
the whole. What really got mangled was the scene where he goes to the day spa, and Andy Dick is like, like a masseuse, and he's just like flapping him with what, like
Yeah.
that scene got mangled in the Comedy Central edit.
Dude, that's my favorite. So like I really do have like a soft spot for watching like really, really bad, like clean versions of movies like
Yeah.
that.
Well, I think the most famous one was the Big Lebowski, where the F word it set a record at the time for most amount of uses of the F word. And what they had was John Goodman's character, who says the F word the most. He would go in, and I think the most famous line that he re-recorded was, I think he was saying, this is why you don't fuck a stranger in the ass. He said, this is why you don't meet a stranger in the Alps. And he just kept saying that. So in the Comedy Central version, he was like, this is why you don't meet a stranger in the Alps, as he's like beating a car to death. With a golf
In
club.
some way that
How are-
works in that
Exactly.
act.
How are you guys not thinking about, I'm sick of these monkey fighting snakes on this Monday through Friday plane?
That's another classic.
I came up with a new one in the shower the other day. It's somebody mentioned, I don't know, here's a random a fact. It's RuPaul has a bunch of land out in the Midwest, and they do fracking on his property, not by any choice of his own, but just because the land got leased by the government. But oil fracking in place of motherfucking. I want to see people say like this oil fracking situation.
This oil fracking Monday
It
through
ha- it has-
Friday.
Q
Same
won't
like-
allow it.
Yeah.
Outfeel.
Yeah, exactly.
Oil
so
frack.
take that,
Alright.
Comedy Central.
So speaking of stuff I
Use it
hate,
for free.
oil fracking. Here's the movie I didn't like. You guys ready? I dug
Born
deep for
ready.
this one. The Day After Tomorrow. So
Oh,
I
man.
thought-
classic shitty movie.
yes, yeah, I thought I was gonna go like Suicide Squad, something recent, like 2016. It's like, I mean, like I feel like that's kind of obvious. I want to let's go farther back. And I remember that as I was stupider as I was younger, I liked worse shit. But there is always this one movie that stuck out to me that I fucking knew was bad at the time, and that was The Day After Tomorrow. That was the same type of vibe where I was there on a Friday night at 6 p.m. after school. I think my dad wanted to see that too, so he was there. Either way, the
That's a
theater's
dad
loaded.
movie.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was at Movie City. My dad wanted to see San Andreas in 2014. I was like, Dad, we're done with the fucking destruction movies. He's like, I don't care, The Rock's in it. That's his mindset.
What was the one with John Cusack, 2012?
2012.
Did he see that one?
No. Okay, I actually saw that one in theaters because I paid for tickets to see Brothers with Jake Gyllenhaal and Topher Grace. And I went to the theater that said Brothers on the side. I sat in the seats and it started and I was like, what the fuck is going on? When is what's his name? When's Tobey Maguire and when's Jake Gyllenhaal showing up? And then finally
coming on
yeah, and then finally the 2012 title, the title card went up. I was like, oh shit, right? Either way, ended up walking out of that one because that was so fucking bad. And Brothers was only 90 minutes long. And we ended up seeing a Joe Enright in the chat, Baba Booey, Baba Booey. We ended up garbage trucks right outside. We ended up seeing what's it called?
You're not supposed to read it.
Sorry.
Shout out to our sponsor.
Shout out to our
Jersey City
sponsor.
Garbage collection.
Either way though, my point was that we saw this fucking movie and it was terrible and everyone told me that it was good and they had a good time, and I remember going to the Chili's in the parking lot for dinner and I was fucking sucked. This was awful.
What
I
a
hated
classic post-movie thing
Yes,
to do. It's
to go to
hit up the
Chili's.
Fridays, Chili's, or Applebee's.
Yeah,
That's in that movie plaza.
it. Yeah, it was awful. I mean, now it's you go to Linden and then you go to what's it called? A Good Will Hunting. Haha. You wanted me to read that though, right? That's what you wanted. Yeah, okay. Now you're sending me mixed signals. Yeah, now it's half apps. Well, it was half apps. I don't know if
Yes,
they do that
yeah.
anymore. But yeah, mine was Day After Tomorrow. I don't have anything to say. It was, it's
I
a
liked
Roland
that
Emmerich movie
I
with the
haven't
other
rewatched
Quaid
it.
brother. Like,
Dennis Quaid.
Dennis Quaid and
Mhm.
Jim Caviezel.
Yeah, it honestly, I've seen that movie so many times. That was like a weird friend staple, like
Jake
for me and
Gyllenhaal.
some of my friends.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, Jake
movie.
Was it
Gyllenhaal,
too.
yeah.
Gyllenhaal? I thought it
Yeah.
was Jim Caviezel.
No, Jake Gyllenhaal.
Jake Gyllenhaal, and it's so bad. I watched it like as like an adult, maybe a couple of years ago, and I was like, why did I like remotely like this as a kid?
I guess I need to rewatch it. I remember it
That's
being
one where
so
it gets,
good.
like super cold and they fall into the mall, right?
The
Like,
Ice
that's
Age.
like,
like a-
It's like
the
the Ice
library.
Age
Yep.
happens again.
Oh,
pretty
yeah,
oh,
much.
and
there's
then
a
they get to the
library,
library.
Yes, but Dennis Quaid's character
Dennis
is
Quaid.
walking from
Oh, yeah, from the
Washington
top
D.C.
window,
to
yeah.
New York, and he falls
Dude,
through a window. Yeah,
That's the stupidest premise of the whole thing.
Yep.
Do you know how long that would take?
These
especially in a
liberals.
blizzard.
Like, yeah,
Guys, it was
in
the
Bli-
second Ice Age. That's what it was. It wasn't just a
Well,
blizzard.
I mean,
like,
Mike, it wasn't supposed to
Ice
be like
Age blitz.
factual.
If anything,
it was
that's
supposed to
worse.
make a big summer blockbuster movie out
Okay,
of.
but I have
out
a
of
problem.
global
I have
warming.
a problem if you're like, I'm the premier weatherman of the world, and I've been telling everybody this is gonna happen, and then it's like, so okay, you want to throw all your science in here, but you're
Written
gonna
by Al
fucking
Gore.
walk from DC to New York. Like, that's the problem I have with
Well,
those, where it
dude,
just
you
pulls
couldn't
me
dr-
out.
Dude, the whole eastern seaboard was covered in a sheet of ice. He had to walk.
I
no,
understand.
he drove for the good part of it, and then he
He
walked.
actually did.
He
Yeah,
did.
He did drive.
I'm gonna go back and rewatch this movie because I'm pretty disappointed.
I gotcha.
Okay.
I loved that movie as a kid. I remember watching it.
Check it out and let us know.
Nick, it's so bad.
Yeah, and as you watch it,
It's
you'll be
so
like,
bad.
"Oh, okay, so we just gave the eco-terrorists a playbook. See, this is what could happen." Like, I don't know why they're all old man
I thought it was
Jones.
It's in the
fear-mongering.
dust.
Like,
What?
I said you thought it was fear mongering.
That's what it was. I was sniffing that shit out. I was like, these motherfuckers. I remember like that was that's the type of movie.
Your dad. I can picture
These
your
oil
dad
trackers.
being like, "Oh, these libtards."
Now, definitely, I don't think my dad had that in his vernacular back then because
yeah, back
didn't
then.
because Facebook didn't exist. However, that's the type of movie that we would watch, and like my mom would say some shit like, "Oh, I'd be dead." She was like, "My legs, they couldn't do it. I'd be dead." Like
Dude,
that's
dead ass. That's my mom's response to every kind of post-apocalyptic movie.
Yeah.
Shoot me in the head. I'm not
Just-
dealing with this.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I like your
can't
mom's
deal
style.
with this.
She's like, I don't want to fucking live here. Like,
All right.
I don't want to do this.
who's up next? Burke.
I'll
Bert,
talk,
what's your next
so-
pool movie?
So this is the movie I don't like, and I was struggling between two things. I was struggling between Evan Almighty, because that's an absolute atrocious film, and it can't live up to Bruce Almighty, and it tried. Or Beer Fest, which
Ooh,
I have a
Ooh.
specific hate for Beer Fest because I feel
love that movie.
I have such a hate for this movie only because I vividly remember, like, whenever I was sick and had to stay home from school, nothing was on TV. Comedy Central always played Beer Fest, and that was the only thing. And I've been forced to watch that far too many times and had too many,
You didn't
like...
watch The Price is Right?
I didn't, Nick. I really didn't. But, like, I feel I also had a lot of, like, knew a lot of, like, idiot people who were like, "Oot!" And, like, that was their personality. That's it. Like,
So I mean, overall, did you think it was a funny movie at all?
I get what they were trying to go for. It just seems like, a cheap version of, like, trying to be the whole James Franco and Seth Rogen squad.
Yeah, I mean, no, that's what those guys definitely were. I can't remember what they called themselves, but they're the same ones.
Broken
that did Super
Lizard.
Troopers. Broken Lizard, yeah, same ones that
Yeah.
did Super Troopers, which
Club
technically
Dread.
came before Seth Rogen and those guys, which
Yeah.
back in like the 90s.
Club Dread has
But,
the most quotable line. Well, at least I say it. I still say it. This is the sometimes you gotta be the guy that tries to shit in the apple pie. However, you just found the one that shits back, and then the murderer just kills him, and that's the joke. But I don't remember Beer Fest. Super Troopers was the other big one, right? That's what I
Yeah,
remember.
yeah,
Club Dread
yeah.
and Super Troopers. That's what I remember.
But yeah, no, but Beer Fest, I just love the part where one of the characters dies, and then
In the
midway
tank,
through,
or...
in the
Yeah.
tank, And then midway through, his like twin is at the funeral, and it was just like, you guys can just. It was like, my brother told me all about you guys and all your inside jokes, so there's no awkward getting to know you phase.
You can call me by his nickname too,
You
because
can call me by his name too.
They
it
just
makes
put
me
a
feel like his
just a
spirit's still
cowboy hat
alive.
on him.
yeah.
That's true. That is like the standout funny moment for me from that movie. But the rest of it was just like,
Oh, you guys don't like the part where he's like, he's got the eye of the Jew, and he starts slimming, and his eye is a Star of
Turn.
David.
they just stole that. They stole that for Inglorious Bastards. That's the entire premise of Inglorious Bastards.
Oh, okay.
He's got the eye of the Jew.
He's got the eye of the Jew. All right,
Which actually,
fair enough.
Inglourious Basterds
All right,
was
Danny,
possibly gonna be
hit
one of
us
my
with it.
Loves. All right. So my hate one, my absolute hate one. Burke, when did you say that all those other movies came out? The Step Brother, that was 2008.
2008. Yeah.
This is another 2008. Will Smith, Hancock.
Oh shit!
Fucking-
Wait,
So-
we saw that together,
I
didn't
think
we?
did.
I don't think
did.
we were friends yet, though.
No, we weren't.
No,
It was
we
when-
weren't.
It was when Megan was our mutual friend.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. I remember this crew now. Yeah. Yeah. She was
Anyway.
like, let's go out on a date and invite all my ex-boyfriends too. Yeah, I remember that day very well.
I wasn't going as part of a date. She just said me and a couple people are going to see Hancock.
Oh, yeah,
And I was
no,
like,
no.
I'm friends with her, so I was like, yeah, let's go. And then it was me, you, and all of her other ex-boyfriends. So it was
Exactly.
like,
I was
all
like,
right,
what the
this
fuck
weird.
is going on?
Okay.
But I had fun.
Anyway, I had a great time. That was our first bonding moment over wondering what the fuck is this. But so Hancock, basically, if you don't know the premise of it, it is what if Superman was a drunk asshole, but still a superhero? And it's a movie that has so much promise when you look at it at face value. It has a funny, like, it's a good story. What if Superman was a drunk piece of shit? The acting by Will Smith, Charlize Theron, and Jason Bateman was really well done, and it was written by Vince Gilligan, who then went on to do Breaking Bad.
It also
And
has
I
a
didn't know it was
really
written by him.
strong
He was
start.
one of the writers.
It also
Right.
has an amazing opening act. It's fucking
Yes.
awesome. It's not until it gets to Act 2 where it's like, what the fuck happened?
When- It starts off as really funny, and it's really funny, but it also dives into the psyche of this just broken, lonely.
What's it like to
drunk,
be an
invis-
immortal? Yeah.
Exactly
Right.
what it's like to be an invincible, immortal person who's just, he's lonely and he's just drunk all the time. And it's one of the first superhero movies that I remember that dives in a little bit on what happens when, like what's the aftermath like with all the damage and the destruction. Although this one, it puts all the blame on the superhero and not the superhero's fight. And so it doesn't fully go into like what we see in like Invincible and stuff like that.
You could have
But
just
it goes
went
a
up. You could have just went up.
Just went up. He was like, my bad.
Yeah.
My bad. He makes fun of some guy for being fat. It's hysterical. And so, but like through all this, then it gets to Act 2, and there's like the plot twist where you learn a little bit about his backstory and his connection with Charlize Theron, and it just falls off the rails.
And, like,
it
it
becomes
is-
this tragic drama that just completely lost the fun of the opening first
Now,
act.
the problem is, I mean, not really a problem, but that guy, Peter Berg, he went on to do like Deepwater Horizon and
Mhm.
Patriots Day. Is it Patriots Day? And like all of those like real world event, Lone Survivor with Mark Wahlberg. So he always had that drama action turn in him. It's just like the first part of that movie is an action comedy. Then,
Yeah.
and listen, all fairness aside, like, I mean, here is that it's still an interesting concept, the whole Charlize
Yeah.
Theron and like, remember when he's like, I woke up in the hospital, I got hit in an alleyway, I woke up in the hospital, and they asked me for my John Hancock. I was like,
Mhm.
oh fuck.
And that's how he got his
That's
name.
why he got his
Hancock,
name.
because he
The
didn't
name.
remember what his name
And it
was.
was
The
like-
only
Look,
thing
That's
he
what
had.
Solo was trying to do.
Yeah.
Han. So also, Danny, I just while you were talking, I replayed the memory. We saw Wall-E together.
Oh.
It was the
okay.
trailer for Hancock Played, and we were all like, we should go see that. It's Wally that we
Got
saw
it,
together
okay.
though.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
All right.
Wally, amazing movie.
Yeah,
I
Wally's
should've had
great.
that on
Wally
one of
was
my loves.
awesome.
But
I
mean,
considered it.
yeah,
considered
this
it.
is just a movie
did.
that had a great concept that then just fell flat on its face.
Yeah, they,
and the
like-
sad part is that Will Smith. This kind of started to then mark the end of Will Smith being that
Mhm.
summer blockbuster staple. This was the movie that sort of started to tank him and
When he
tank
was
his
no longer
credibility.
the party starter.
He exactly, and so the
You might
the
have
thing
a
is
good
that-
time, but he parties harder.
but what's a shame is
anymore.
that he actually put in a great performance.
He's
Yeah, he
great.
He put in
He's
a
fucking
really
awesome.
good performance in this. But I would see this movie on so much, like on I think it was on Stars a lot, and I
They
would
played
see it
this a
on
lot.
Stars every time. I would put it on, hoping it would be better, and it's never better because they didn't redo the
You don't
movie
like the part-
when it came out on Stars.
You don't
I'm
like
just
the
hoping
part-
that maybe I'll get something more out of it.
Right.
that'll make me
With
like
my
it.
age and
Yeah,
wisdom,
you don't like the
Never
part
happened.
where Will Smith takes a full man's head and puts it into the ass of another full-grown human, and they show
That-
it on camera?
My favorite line was from that scene
Google it.
where those two guys come up and they try and
I
check
gotta
him while he's in
Google
prison.
it.
I love they try and check him while he's in prison, and they're like, "Come on, why don't you make a move?" And Will Smith just leans in and just says, "Do you guys really want to ride this train right now?" And I was like, "Damn, that's cold
Yeah.
blooded. That is
That's
a
hard.
great-
He
That is
shaves. He
hard.
shaves with his fingernails. Like I said, interesting concepts. These are good ideas. It was like they got to the fucking 30-yard line and just fucking fumbled the ball all the way
Drop.
in.
They just did a Daniel.
There it
Jones.
is. There it is.
There
Yep.
it is.
Dude, that would
My man
destroy
would not be
the
able to
rectum.
stand straight up.
Yeah. That would, dude, that was like your head's going up his ass. And then they did it. He fucking did it. He put another
it.
guy. Like, how do you even do that? Like, you hold it
He's a
up.
man
and
of
like,
his word.
you know. All right. Anyway, who's next? Nick, wrap it up for us.
Not much to be said here. Jurassic World.
Wow.
Ooh,
That's
wow.
a bold choice. I actually really like that movie.
What a way to ruin. I mean, I guess the preceding sequels to the original Jurassic Park weren't all that great, but way to just give it the classic Hollywood treatment of just like, who gives a shit? Just make it a big summer
Remake.
blockbuster. Don't put any thought into it at all. I was just utterly disappointed because it's like the source material is incredible. That first movie and the Michael Crichton novel, like, incredible, and they could have done so much, but they're like, what if we made an even more terrible dinosaur?
Yeah, I feel like
I
that
completely understand.
I feel like that is kind of like that idea hasn't really aged well, the whole like let's make our own dinosaur thing. But I will say what is still an interesting part of that movie was it's two things. One, the park is up and running. Is that Jurassic Park, or World in this case, is actually open and like people can experience it. So like it's not just like, oh, before it opened we fucked it all up. And then the second thing is that god damn it, I had it and I lost it. Whatever. That's it. That's
Well, what I would
Bryce
say to
Dallas
that
Howard.
is it's
Yeah,
so much of the
Bryce
movie.
Dallas Howard.
Obviously, you have to have characters that drive the narrative. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that, but so much of the movie was just focused on them in the park. Like like the original movie was like people out in the woods. Whereas if you wanted to do that, it would have been nice to just see like random people just getting mangled by dinosaurs. Like that would have been something different.
You sparked my you jogged my memory. It's the idea in which this park still exists on the same island that the last one did, like that the original Jurassic Park film, like those
Isla
events,
Sorna.
Isla Sorna, and that the remnants of that place were still there. Like, you know, they found the Jeep, the Indominus Rex. I mean, it's stupid that they're able to even drive that Jeep. You know, how does it even work? But, you know,
they don't
testament to
build
Jeep.
things like they used
Yeah,
to.
testament to Jeep. But I mean, like, I definitely see why this movie has aged poorly or why people don't like it in retrospect. but I still think it's pretty good compared to what came after it, though. Like, have you seen Fallen Kingdom?
I didn't bother with the
Oh,
second
it's so bad.
Brutal.
We saw that one together
Brutal.
too, Diddy.
Yeah, we did. We
remember
saw
they gave
Jurassic
us-
World together too. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I remember I saw that with Saggy and IMAX midnight. That was like one of the last
Oh,
midnight
okay.
movies. But then we saw it at Cranford Theater.
Yeah. Which is so completely different
Yeah,
experience.
which
from
was like
IMAX.
I saw it in the highest format I could, and then I saw it in a theater where the gamma was so blown out there was basically a white filter over the
Oh,
Hey,
fucking.
did you see it? Wait, did you see it in theaters or no?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
The
I was
one
gonna
the
say-
one other thing. Oh, continue. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, like, I wonder if you're, because I didn't see that movie in theaters. I saw it after the fact, and I think
Right.
like if I may have seen it in theaters, I might have enjoyed it a bit more. But I just felt it was like, oh shit, we
The-
got to
the
run
other
this Chris
thing-
Pratt train.
The other thing that I want to bring up was no practical effects, which is like the hallmark of the original movie is the perfect blending of practical and CGI, and it's like I would have loved to have seen that rather than it just be one big CGI
Well,
mess.
I don't want to be this guy, but actually, there is one practical effect in the movie.
Oh, okay, one practical
a
effect.
whole one.
There is one.
Which scene?
It's the scene where they find all the brontosauruses that are getting killed by the I-Rex, and you know the part where he has the head in his hands? That head is actually animatronic. But that's it. Everything else is all
well, I
CGI.
changed
That's all, that's all it is.
Yes,
Now
Nick,
it's my
change your
favorite.
opinion now.
Take this movie off your list.
Yeah. All right. Well, I would say that's pretty good. Let's do clip of the week, huh?
Oh yeah, it's the clip of the week. Oh, it's the clip of the week. It's the clip of the week.
All right, boys. Let's do this. Let's fucking do it. Are we ready?
Clip me.
Oh, I forgot to make this one. Landscape. Whoops.
Oh,
What are you doing, bro? You alright?
Were those his teeth?
No, I think it was the glass on the back windshield.
Well, he's
Might have
holding
been.
his mouth at the end there.
It was
Which I
definitely
mean,
glass.
that's
It might have
definitely-
been teeth in there.
Okay.
Did
Okay,
they just
so
brake check this dude?
for anyone
he
who's listening, this
me.
guy just brake checks a fucking cyclist, and to be fair, the cyclist is right up the guy's ass,
Like an
and
asshole.
he rides right into the back of him and shatters his back windshield.
And
However,
his chin goes into the
is
frame of the
like
car.
like his
Oh.
face goes into the fucking window, and like it doesn't look like he's hurt too bad, but he's probably fucking
He might have
bruised and cut up for
yeah,
sure.
hurt his nose or
But
something
I
like
love
that. It might be
like
bleeding,
I
but-
love this right here. What are you doing, bruv? Like,
Like
He wasn't that close.
What are you
behind.
doing, bro? You alright?
Yeah, no,
That guy- I mean, he
I don't think
definitely-
you can ride somebody's ass if you're in a bike in a car. Like, I mean, you can, but like, it's completely different. Like, you don't need to brake check a bicyclist on the road behind you.
I'm sorry, I don't agree. Like, if somebody's
I know
riding
you
my
don't
ass,
agree.
Bring it back further. All right, now let's watch it through.
he's right.
he's
up
right
there.
up his ass.
Right up there.
He's on the street with them.
He
Yo!
also,
Well, so
he
What are
also
you
was
doing,
saying
bro?
I was
You
expecting him to go from 30 to 0.
Yeah, no.
And he-
Also, they were filming him beforehand. They were planning to do this to this dude.
Yep.
Oh,
and also,
I mean,
but the fact that they were filming him leads me to believe that he was being an asshole before this. That the cyclist was being an asshole before
that's a
this.
good point.
I think it's the other way. I think they were like, watch me fuck up this guy with a brake check.
All right,
And,
debate
like, I
lords.
think
All
they
right,
decided
debate
to
lords. Let's
brake check him
relax.
because he was being a dick.
Let's put a poll in the chat.
Yeah, let's.
right
All
now.
right,
What
so
do you-
cyclists or
All right,
motorists?
Liz, Joe, what do you think?
Liz's mom, what do you have to say?
Oh shit! All right, well, that was, I mean, I wanna see him get hit.
one more
I want to see him get hit
They-
one more time.
They break their back windshield, so is it worth it?
That's a concussion right
Yo!
there. Like he hits
What are
his
you doing,
chin.
bro? You alright?
Yeah, he fucking hit his chin really hard.
Oh,
Yeah, he shattered the entire the back windshield.
Probably a couple bruised ribs as well.
My guy. Clip of the weeks are brutal all the time. And I'm
Yeah,
so
Except for the week
I-
that you guys
well,
weren't here.
I think there was actually that was a pretty innocuous clip.
the dude planting
mean,
flowers.
So,
Like,
it's funny you bring that up about the clip of the week because the first one was a guy drinking bong water and then eating kitty litter. And I said to Joe at the time, I was like, hey, maybe don't do a guy drinking bong water and eating kitty litter, which also had shit in
Very
it, by the way.
specific.
Yeah, like maybe let's not do that.
flavored
And
kitty
then
litter.
we kind of moved away from that just a little bit. And then Nick engineered the show one night and brought in this really brutal clip of this guy just slamming into the back of a fucking car. A kid, actually, right?
Oh yeah.
And there's a
I
clip
guess
there.
this is 2 clips. This is the second time
Yeah.
I've shown somebody just smashing into the back of a stopped
There,
vehicle.
we have a sizzle reel of like some of the old like reactions, and the first thing I say is, "Am I supposed to laugh at this?" Like, and that's really kind of what I feel even now watching these clips.
Well, what I could have brought you was a kid jumping off the side of a high-rise building, and I opted not to show you guys. that
Yeah,
one.
see
Oh,
that.
thank you so
Yeah,
much.
suicides.
Don't worry,
I would
he
say.
landed on
Wow.
an airbag. He didn't die or anything, but
Oh, okay.
He's not walking ever again.
no. There was like the fire department
No,
showed
I
up and
know.
inflated. He's fine, but
Good. Probably
His
sprained
mental
ankle.
health's probably not in a great place, but physically he's
he
a-okay.
was shooting a TikTok on his balcony and got stuck. So his only option was to jump.
Wow. How does that
No,
become your
weak
only
sauce.
option?
I'm built different. I could have just jumped and landed.
I hope it was a viral TikTok. I hope like his TikTok went viral. I fucking hope it was worth it. All right.
Probably more viral of him doing the other way.
Let's just do another 10 minutes so we could say we officially did a 2-hour show.
Yeah. Yeah. Should we wrap it up with a 10-minute discussion on Plato?
Yes.
I got to piss, so you guys are on your own. For the
I really got to
first
piss
part
too.
of
So I'm just gonna
I
call
really
it. I'm
gotta
just
go.
gonna call it
Talk
right
about
here.
Socrates for 10 minutes.
I'll give you
I got
you
this.
guys here's my honorable mentions for summer blockbusters. Back to the Future, Star Wars,
The
Inception,
Clone Wars, of course, right?
Inception.
Gladiator,
100%.
which was almost on my list, Saving Private Ryan, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dark Knight was we talked about, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and the original Jurassic Park.
I like it.
There you go.
I like it. I like it. I like it.
Big.
I'm trying to think of other one. I mean, like I went back and I was just like, I mean, it's really like, what Marvel movie am I gonna pick? You know that. And then once I got rid of those, I was like, okay, what like actually original idea do I like? And like, there was slim pickings there too. So,
I
you
do
know?
have in the spirit of the like bootlegged DVDs and movies, when X-Men Wolverine Origins came out, we had gotten that.
I watched that bootleg too.
Everybody
Bootleg.
got that movie on bootleg
I
though
think
because it
everybody
leaked.
got
It
that same
leaked.
bootleg
Remember?
before the
Did not
CGI was
have
done.
Yes, it
CGI
leaked.
spinach
Yup.
in it.
I remember
And I have
Fox
a
was
vivid
telling
memory.
everyone they were gonna sue everyone who illegally downloaded it, and for like a week I was like, oh fuck, my parents are gonna find out, and Fox is gonna sue me. Like,
Do
I
you
have a
guys
vivid
remember
memory
the
of
shot
one of the
with the
running scenes? And like it was like either a top down camera or
Yep.
something, but it's like a fully like low poly silver person.
Yeah.
Is like slow
remember
frame
the
running.
shot with the guns spinning in slow
Yeah.
motion? They're just
you
made out
remember-
of like plastic.
how about do you remember the shots of Ryan Reynolds going through the fucking lobby, and he's just got nothing in his hands, and there's what's a poorly rendered bullet physics in front,
Yeah.
or the placeholder score. So when they score a movie before they figure out, they usually put other things in there that they want it to emulate the feeling of, right? They chose the Transformers score, so it was all the Transformers music in a Wolverine movie.
Oh, that's
God
funny.
damn it! I wish that version still exists. I'm sure it's still out there.
You
I'm
can-
sure.
you
I'm
can
sure you
find
could
I'm
find
sure.
it.
We
Yeah.
should do a commentary on that.
It might be illegal, but I would be down.
I mean, we could commentate on it all we want. We just can't show shit.
Yeah. Yeah, no. All right. Well, with that being said, thanks everybody for listening. We appreciate it. If you like this, like the video, subscribe. There's an audio version on all major podcast forums. Check out our website, and we'll see you next week for Army of the Dead, and then we'll see you 2 weeks after that. All right. Peace.